First of all, I want to welcome everybody who took the time out of their day to join the conference or the webinar today. I know you're all busy. I know you all have things going on. Carving out this time for us means a lot. We're here today to talk about Geocortex, the Essentials suite, talk about solutions that we've been working on with our clients, and to introduce a new software package we've been working on. This new package, in conjunction with what Essentials has provided historically, can help your organization evaluate data, locate areas of concern, action on those data, and report through some of these crucial business processes, much like the integrity management programs pipeline operators are working through. In just a little bit of history here, these last couple of years have been really exciting for our team and the work that we've been doing with our clients. Building on the momentum we've been gaining over the last 5 years, we're looking at how our solutions have been leveraged across a wide variety of the implementation base, and looking at those who have gone beyond just the web viewer implementation to really using Geocortex to solve these problems. In response to this, we as a company organized a focused energy team about a year ago. And this is really a collection of not only people who have been a part of Latitude Geographics and working on energy specific projects, but also folks like myself who have been brought in to augment this team and bring our own subject matter expertise to the organization. Since this team is formed, we've had an exciting change in how we're engaging with clients. As I mentioned, we're not working as much on implementing a web viewer, but solving business processes. And this interaction that we've had with our clients has gone up. We are working at rolling up our sleeves, sitting down with our clients, and working through problems that quite honestly are still not being solved in some of the environments that we've seen rolled out over the last few years. These problems, these processes, these inefficient processes, take valuable time, they cost a lot of money, but they really don't have to. And we've been able to, through the workflow and through the other technology built inside of Geocortex Essentials, we've been able to offer a lot of return on our investment to our clients. We're finding that these solutions that we're delivering are actually they cost less initially than our clients were looking at, but they're also not having to rewrite them as their underlying technology advances because of the future proofing that Latitude Geographic puts into the Essentials suite. Therefore, things like advancing through your GIS platform, we have clients that are taking days to make these changes, not weeks. And then throughout this time as well, we've also been developing some solutions. Folks who have been following our progress for a while are familiar with things like perspective, how we're visualizing the subsurface environment for exploration and production companies. We've also launched a tool that interactively reads back the stationing on your line. We call it Pipeline Navigator, now released in both Geocortex environments, but also working in native Esri web app builder environments. So those things are available right now. And recently, through these engagements we've been working on, we were challenged to solve a little bit different problem that our clients face. And solving this problem has actually led to our newest offering and one of the reasons why we're here today. This solution, or the problem we've been asked to solve, in intentionally oversimplifying what we've done here, is people are looking for an easy and intuitive way to inspect their pipelines and the data that's around their pipelines. They need a way to tap into data across the organization because, quite honestly, the data that you're using is not always part of your GIS. They also want to be able to connect to their major underlying data systems. So organizations like PODS and APDM and even the new APR offering that Esri is bringing to market, people are storing data in these formats, and it seems that many implementations are a huge push-up to provide value on top of these base implementations. And so make it Latitude, make it so we don't have to worry about what underlying data management tools we're using. Just help us access and make decisions on our data. Oftentimes too, we need to connect to non-spatial data, anything that might be a meter. A lot of people are keeping their inline inspection, their close interval survey, and their cathodic protection data outside of their core GIS, and that's providing a gap in analysis and decision making. We were also challenged with providing some powerful visualizations, but beyond just a visualization tool, how can we, as people that use Geocortex, action on that data? How can we integrate with other systems? How can we make things happen that are inefficient now? And so through our workflow technology, we were able to tap right into that as well. And as we kicked off on this proof of concept, we got pretty excited. We put our thinking hats on and brainchilded a way that we wanted to approach this solution and presented this back to clients with pretty positive reviews. And so we went off and we developed for a while. And as we came back and we got excited about what we had found, we started showing it to operators. And in doing so, a strange thing happened. And that strange thing is that the teams that we were used to working with, maybe more the IT and the GIS side, said, hey, wait a minute, we actually need to introduce you to our asset integrity teams. We need to introduce you to our risk management teams because all of a sudden, we're now providing a tool that extends beyond traditional GIS uses. People that need to make decisions on spatial data, but don't necessarily want to be using a GIS system to make those decisions. Those are the people that were interested in what we had to offer. And these folks too, you know, in my experience with them, their job is solving business problems. It's not playing with technology. Walking in and talking with them, introducing a technology solution, there was a bit of a challenge, a bit of an uphill battle. But as we began to speak with these folks, the conversations really started opening up. And we started discussing many issues that each individual operator faced. But as we started talking with 2, 3, and 5 of these companies, we kept hearing the same things pop up. And in this, you know, we started hearing these problems that maybe we could think about helping them address. And so, you know, as we start talking through this, we hear things like, well, yeah, this is great. I have this way that I can bring data together and I can visualize it inside of my organization. But I still need to prepare a dig sheet for people. I still need to get them some graphic out into the field. But that's going to be a manual process. And so I appreciate that you showed me this, but understand that I just need something that does more. Or we would hear things like, well, this is great, but after I make this decision, I have to manually schedule a dig. I have to get out of one system and go to another system before I can enable a crew to go out in the field and actually remediate these issues. And there's right now, unless I'm willing to spend a whole bunch of money, there's really not an easy way that I can integrate with these different systems and streamline this task. Or, you know, as people get out into the field, you know, what are they doing when they're in the field and how are they collecting data? You know, I find that you know, they get out in the field, they don't have an internet connection. And so I've got to think about getting all of this data offline. But then those systems are complex and they end up taking or collecting a bunch of this data by hand. And when they do that, it takes a lot of time to get it back in the system. It's error prone. And I really don't see them adhering to our internal processes and making sure there's rigor around the data that they collect. And then after that's done, and we get it back into the office, I really don't have a consolidated way that I can access, visualize, and see what happened. And then maybe in the extreme case of an audit, I don't have an easy way to access all of this data. Well, these are pains that many operators feel, and even if you're on this and you don't see each and every one of those happening, I'm sure at least one of those resonated with you. These are going to be costing money directly through through higher cost of making decisions, through the process of going through all of the regulatory compliance, but they also introduce inefficiencies that lead to higher costs in the background. Existing solutions seem to have tried to address these problems, but they're just not winning over with clients. And we here at Latitude have just a little bit of an advantage, of a tactical advantage here, because we don't craft single point solutions. We have this quiver, or this toolbox of powerful integration tools, powerful process automation tools, visualization tools, reporting tools, and we can actually chain these together in a fashion that meets the needs of our clients and allows them to craft a solution that meets their needs, adheres to their process, but it's not a huge software engineering push-up. So if there needs to be a change to the process, it's not overly burdensome there as well. So as we started to talk with these people, and we've got our problem-solving hats on, and we're thinking, well, hey, we can help you solve that. We can do that for you. We were then met with about the ultimate challenge we could. Okay, fine, show me. If you say you can do this, show me. So we did. And it was actually pretty well received, and that's what's bringing us here today with you. So in response to this, we've put together the following demo. And this demo is really, like I said, to launch this new interactive charting tool, interactive linear reference visualization tool that we've built called Inline. And I'm going to get into Inline here in just a minute, but we're really pretty excited about this. But we also are using Workflow, our process automation engine, and our disconnected mobile application framework to facilitate a complete round trip out into the field and back. So while this is admittedly a bit simplified and intentionally at a high level, our intention was to capture the broadest of use cases and then show our flexibility that can tailor this to your environment, tailor this to your data, and to your processes. Our goal is to show you what's possible and then how this solution can enable your company to interact with the data dynamically, action on that data, and really drive that entire process. So without further discussion here, I'm just going to dive right into this. And you'll see that I've got a web browser open. And my web browser has a fictitious pipeline for our fictitious pipeline company. Okay, so in order to, I'm sorry about that, in order to engage with my pipeline data here, I'm going to choose a template, and in choosing a template, understand that we have pretty much an infinite configuration potential here. We can connect to whatever underlying data you have. We can create as few or as many templates that we have. So we've created 3 templates here that can kind of showcase this tool set. The first one I'm going to show here is what I call physical characteristics. After I select the template, I'm going to go ahead and select my line. And because in the pipeline operators are used to interacting with their data from more of a stationing first methodology, we've developed this widget here called Pipeline Navigator that provides interactive stationing through the pipeline. So I can select not only a point on that pipeline, but I can select a linear range on the pipeline. So now I've got an area here that I'm set up for viewing. Once I've got my template selected, once I've got my range selected, I can go ahead here and I can pop up a separate panel inside of Geocortex. And you're going to see that this data is being populated with not only my pipeline characteristics, but we're also looking at my MAOP values, the results of my risk assessment, and I've got a nice interactive profile elevation here. I can also switch over to inline inspection data. And so here I'm bringing together results from a pigging run over the top of my my pipe, my defining characteristics of my pipe, my profile, and I've got a band here that shows me any HCAs that I might have. And so as I look at my pipe and I see that you know, maybe there's not a lot here to be looking at, I actually have interactivity, so I can scroll down my pipeline and bring this data back. And now I get to an area where I've got a valve on my line. I actually have a wall thickness change that I can visibly see. And because I've got this data summarized here for me, I am able to see that the reason that my pipe characteristics are changing is because my wall thickness is changing a little bit, right? I even have the ability to tap into the underlying tabular data inside of this inside of this data that's being presented to me here, if I want to see an in-depth or more detailed view of what's driving the data that's being presented to me. And as I scroll down here, you'll notice that I get to an area that seems to have a pretty large concentration of values here. And I've got a little bit of red that's peeking out from behind, which means I've got an area of a little bit higher corrosion growth there. Well, I can come in and through some filtering tools, I can actually reduce the amount of data that's being showed inside of these bands. I can also bring my pipe segment data up. There we go. So it's right in line with my my inline inspection data. And the other thing that makes this just absolutely amazing is there we go. There we go. I can actually tap right into my workflow technology, and I can go off and I can schedule a dig from right inside of this form. So inside of here, I've been able to bring different data sets together. I've been able to filter on that data so I can bring a more realistic view or a more actionable view to the front for me. I've also been able to go right in and create a work order request. I'm going to assign this to myself. I'm going to set the assign date to today, and I'm actually going to set this to in progress here. So since I've gone ahead and assigned this. At the same time, I can use the underlying reporting technology to go out and create a dig report. So I'm no longer forced to do this by hand or use a static map and print some stuff out. The dig report that we're generating here is not only creating a location map, so kind of a high-level map for people to know where they're going out in the field. This is also bringing together a whole bunch of different attributes on the pipe itself, and it's bringing together a listing of all of the corrosion features I should see when I go out into the field. This is saved as a PDF report. I can either email this off to somebody, or you'll see as we continue this process, so here I'm able to email this off to somebody, or you'll see as we're continuing through this process, the this PDF report is actually going to follow me through. So here I can put in my address, my email address, and send myself an email on this. Once I've scheduled this now, what I want to do is enable a field crew to go out into the field and use the information that I've already provided to help them then automate the process by which they can collect that data in the field and fill out a typical field inspection report or field repair report. So I'm going to go ahead and select myself. And then you'll see that it loads the work order that I just created. And because I've written this inside of the new Workflow 5 technology, the same workflows are going to be working for me as I'm in the office as they are when I'm disconnected and offline. So data can be checked out into a tablet or a laptop device taken in the field with your internet connection severed, and we can still use our workflow technology to automate these underlying tasks that I'm doing. And so I'm going to set this status to completed. I'm going to say that we repaired this, and admittedly, again, right, pretty high level, showing you what's possible. The other thing that's going to happen here is because I'm using the workflow technology, I was able to select a landowner record of where I'm actually out at on the field in case we need to follow up with the landowner to talk about what was done, how long we were there, and how we repaired the pipe. I can add a comment. I can optionally upload a file. Upload a photo. And I can bundle all of this together inside of a PDF report that is generated as an artifact as a byproduct of what I've done. And as this is processing, here we go. And then again, I can send this as an email. But as this is processing, you'll see that I've got a pretty complete field inspection report, and I was able to do this in a disconnected state, and I was able to use workflow technology to automate some of the steps to make that happen. Finally, as we've completed this round trip and we get back into the office, I want to be able to search for these completed work orders. I want to see what happened. And I want to be able to make sure that the work that we're doing on our pipelines is actually meeting our stringent processes and is allowing us to show other organizations, whether that's regulatory or whatnot, what we have done and how we have made that happen. And so I'm going to go ahead and select I'm going to go ahead and select this work order that I just completed here. And you'll see that not only do I have the details of what happened, but I also have the initial dig report that was created, and I have the completed work order. So all of that is available for us. So there's the initial dig report, and here is our completed work order that we have. Let's see if I can get my slideshow to start back up here. And with that, I've been able to introduce to you Geocortex Inline. I've been able to show that through Inline, we can make actionable decisions, integrate with other systems, generate needed reports, kick data out into the field, collect data on that in the field, and then see what was collected back in the back office. And like I said, this is all available through Geocortex, and Inline is a pretty new product that we're offering, solution that we're offering, and really, if there's anything more that we can do or any questions that I can answer on it, I do know that I can interact here with the audience. All right, I hear that I see that there are some questions around some of the technical difficulties, and I apologize. I do have a question here. What software is required to execute this pipeline demo? We have done all of this using the Esri APR solution on top of the Esri geodatabase using ArcGIS 10.5 solution with Geocortex. I believe it's Essentials 4.8 and Viewer 2.9. And so all of this is available through a standard Esri implementation and through some of the more recent releases of the Geocortex framework. I've got what are the Esri licenses required? Okay, I think I've had that. Yes, you can have a copy of this presentation. Tori, this demo can be available immediately and at any time. Thanks for asking. And then Jorge asked if where the data for the inline bands is held. This is actually pretty exciting and probably worth a more in-depth conversation. We can access data directly from the geodatabase. So if you have a feature class in the geodatabase that is registered to the line, we can use that. We can also take data that's inside the geodatabase but use attributes to place it on the line, so it can be inside the database but not necessarily registered to one of your event-driven feature classes. Next, and actually the inline inspection data that we displayed in this presentation is coming from a straight SQL Server database that just has attributes on it that allow us to attach it to the physical location on the line. So, so it can come from any of those sources. As of now, it does have to be kind of an enterprise data source, but we're looking at even seeing if we can bring Excel data into the future. The mobile solution is a native app. It is essentially, if you take the HTML5 version of Geocortex and you wrap it in a shell that allows us to take it offline, that's what you have. So the mobile app is disconnected. It is native to your device, meaning you can run it on an iOS, an Android, or a Windows device natively, but it is the Geocortex HTML5 viewer in an offline state. And with that, I think I have all of the questions answered. I also think that we are slightly over time. Oh, is there any specific data model required for inline or pipeline data? No, there is no specific data model so far. We have used Pods Relational, Pods Spatial, APDM, and Esri's APR with UPDM and Pods Lite to access all of this data. And with that, there is my contact information. My name is Sam Atchison. Oh, a couple of, we are going to be presenting this at Pipeline Week. Yes. Can we present the station numbers with just 2 decimal places? Absolutely. Again, that was something that we put together in relatively quick order. It is already noted that we went out too many decimal places, and yes, we're going to be working to create that. And absolutely, I am going to be at the Rocky Mountain Pub tonight. If anybody from Colorado is attending, I'll see you tonight. And I'll be down at Pipeline Week next week. Here is my contact information. Please ask any questions you want. Let us show you how we can help you guys solve these problems. And thank you for your time today.